Huh. So can you
And it,
yeah,
yes.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, triggers and try catch yesterday we have completed up to over there. And test class also we have completed, test visible.
Yeah, right. So test visible we completed, but in case of test class, I think few points are remaining. So
Yes,
if
yes.
someone will ask you like what is the best practice for test classes, what will you say?
Okay. Uh, First one is the code coverage. We have to try to cover the code coverage 90 plus, and at least we have to cover 75 to does not the failure of the code.
Mm-hmm.
And between stop and stop method we should reset the means governor limits, and that's what I know, 2 points.
Okay. So in test class, so let me just tell you. Let's
Yeah.
say first, and as a best practice, you can even you can say at that each test is annotation for that.
Okay.
Okay. So hard coding should not be there. Should not.
Okay.
Okay. Third point, if I'll say that like SQL should not use.
Yes.
Four point at the rate test setup should use. And five, always always utility class should use. You know utility class.
No.
Utility is nothing. It's also a simple Apex class. So generally, what happen? So let's say I have this Apex class. Okay, and
Okay.
I have this test class, and this test class. Different classes I have. Multiple means around like more than 50, more than 50, like 500, something like this. So in all the test classes, so that if I'm discussing about account, I'm inserting the account records here, and here. So that
Yeah.
account contact opportunity, like I'm updating around, I'm writing around 70 to 80 lines in this class. Same line I'm writing in this class. Same writing in this
Okay.
means again and again I'm increasing my line number of lines, right? So why I'm writing the code again and again? Why I'm not creating one? I will create one separate class here. In that
Yeah.
class I will create the contact account, whatever data I will create, and same method I will call in this one, in this one, and it's a one line of code. It's a like full bucket here, like it's a 80 line here. So the method name is one. We don't need to call all the lines. We will call only a method name. Automatically all the lines will be covered to in this one. Okay. So
Okay.
like
Yeah.
that is a utility class. This is a utility.
Connecting with each method, no?
So
Utility class.
utility will mean to say, let's say I have created some of the test data in the main class. Okay, in the
Yeah.
class test data again and again I am creating the same data.
Okay.
Okay, so why can't we create that same data in other one method, and why can't we call that method to in every classes?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that is the utility
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
So again, at the test setup method, we should use test or star test
Yeah. That,
and test or stop test.
stop.
Okay. Other difference, if I'll say that should be if it should assert equal should be there. You know assert equal.
No.
Okay. Assert equal means, let's say I'm writing some data here. Let's say account ACC is equal to, I'm writing some SQL. Let ID from account. This is my code, one line of code. So this is my inner test class. So what should I write here? System dot
debug.
so assert equals assert not equals. If it is equal, then we'll do equal. Otherwise, we'll send it's not equal. So
Okay.
so it is just for expected result. So what will I write here? Null, like this. So what it is saying? So whatever data I'm getting in the top, it should not be null. Like it should never be
Okay.
null. Okay, just checking the things. Not equal means ACC should not be equal to null. Expected result should be there. It is just for expected result.
Okay.
Okay, it's assert equal. We should always use this one. And should not use see all data
Equal to true.
true. Yes. And should use what say is LL equal to true, and should use okay, if we are getting mixed DML exception, actually we have two type of object in Salesforce. One is setup, second is non-setup. Setup is account contact opportunity, and custom object is setup. Let's say you have a user profile role. So all these are my non-setup object. Okay. So
Okay.
if you are getting mixed DML exceptions, so what should we write here? System dot run as. User will use in. So these are my best practices. There might be more than that, but yes, these are the commons which we need to use.
Yeah. What are the complex things? 2 points, any complex in
This
test
one,
class. Yeah, in test class.
complex thing is, let's say, complex is, let's say you have try catch. You in the main class you have a try, okay,
Yeah.
and you have catch block
Okay.
like this. So you are covering the code coverage of try. You can cover it, whatever code is written by try. So you are covering, this is a main class, no test class, and you are writing a test class for this main class. You have
Okay.
you have covered the code coverage for these try, but definitely there is some error, like exceptional code in the catch as well.
Catch.
You need
Okay.
you need to cover this one as well. So this is very challenging part in test class to cover the things.
Okay.
It's
Triggers
very
also. In
catch.
triggers, what is the complex things?
Sorry.
In triggers, what is the complex things?
In trigger, if we'll go to complexity, so that is complex thing is, there are lots of complex things actually in the trigger, like you can say let's say
Just 2 points I need. 2 points is enough.
so complex thing, let's say I have there is one requirement, let's say account.
Yeah.
Account, I'm inserting the account record. If I'm inserting the account record in the database,
Yeah.
what should happen if I'm clicking on new button, and let's say I created this Kumar account.
Yeah.
After created this Kumar account, so what should be happen? One like some of the record should be created under this account. Means if I'm what should happen if I'm creating new account, one contact should be created. If I'm updating this new this account record, it should be increased by 2. But make sure if it is 2, if it is more than 1, then my one checkbox should be true on the account object. There might be one checkbox, and that will be true.
Okay.
So 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so requirement now. So if my account is created, so my contact should also get created. If I'm updating the account, then
Yeah.
it should be created, but your condition is if it is more than one contact is created, this active checkbox should be make it true.
Okay.
That is very challenging because it seems very simple. Like if you're listening this thing, it seems very simple, but once you will do, because again first, like we are going from after before trigger to after trigger, because this we are just performing operation in same object. We are not performing operation on the same object. We are doing from after trigger. After trigger we will write from parent to child. Parent to child we are writing after trigger. Again we are going to before trigger. Like how will we get the id in case of before trigger? That is little challenging part here.
Okay. After trigger. Okay.
Huh. So that is a thing. And second thing is, let's say we have three objects. Second challenging part is, let's say I have three objects. One is parent object.
Okay.
One is parent, one is child, and second is parent. So that is a junction object. We can say man-to-man relationship.
Okay. Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my parent object. This is my child object. This is my again parent object. It's a man-to-man relationship. So the condition is, we have filled in this object. We have filled two field in this object. One is for this parent. Second is for this parent. Okay. So what should happen? All the parent name should be copied from there and pasted in the description field here. Let's say I have 200. I have let's say, let me just tell you again. Oh, 1 second. Let's say I have this parent object. Under this parent object, I have one trigger. I have one child object. Okay, I have this parent object. I have this child object. If it is, definitely it will be populated in the child object. The parent will be populated one value, right, on the local field. So
Yeah.
and this is a junction object. So another there is another parent for this one as well. Okay.
Yeah.
There is another parent for this one as well. So if you go to another parent who is attached under this one, so we'll go to this parent. So all the childs for this parent should be copied and should be pasted to in this
Parent.
We are doing one kind of reparenting, like from one parent to another parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the description field, it should be pasted, like all the names of the childs should be pasted in the name of the parent object.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is one more challenging part.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
The triggers is enough. I can say it enough complex things, 2 points. And test class is also completed. Apex also completed. Next we go for batch Apex.
We'll go with
Or any points. Yeah.
So these are my.
Or any points.
So yeah, we'll tell you. So in case, let's say as I told you, it's a test class. Best practices, test setup should be used, always utility class should be there, and start test stop test should be there, start equal should be there, should not be zero data true, should use parallel true, and system dot run as like we should use, because it will always run in case of a user context. So we have with sharing and without sharing in Apex class. It's a sharing.
Yes.
With sharing, without sharing. So in with sharing is generally, let's say your OWD is private. I'm telling you with sharing.
Okay, with sharing
OWD is private. If it is private and my class is without sharing, so what OWD is saying? OWD is saying no one can see my records. Like only owner of the record can see their own record, right? But
Yeah.
what is a like alternative if I can share my record? Like I can go to Apex class, and by default Apex class run in the system mode actually. System mode matlab, system mode means let's say it's a not user mode. Let's say it's a totally open. Open means like
Okay.
whatever
Okay.
restriction you implement, that will be override. Okay.
Okay.
That if you are saying OWD private, then it will be public. Okay, it is totally in system
Apex
mode.
class will be public.
No, test class can be public and private both. But
No. If OWD is private, the Apex class will be in public.
that will be public. Now, it means record
Yeah.
sharing rule will be public. Means OWD will be public of the Apex class.
Okay.
So all the record, everyone can see their like each other records. Okay, but if
Okay.
you want to implement this same OWD, like we can say
In
this run in a system mode, we can say it runs in the without sharing mode. System mode and without shading is different. So if I'll go to my with sharing, so with sharing is run always user mode, and it's a with sharing. Like whatever functionality, whatever OWD and whatever things you implemented, so okay, in the backend admin side, everything will be enforced in this with sharing. Like you cannot share the record to each other user as well.
that
Okay.
time the OWD will be private. User mode.
OWD will be private, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
that is the thing. And so if I will so apart from this, in Apex class, utility class, I told you helper class. In trigger, we should always use a helper class as well. Like one object,
Yeah.
one trigger should be per only single object trigger,
Yeah.
only
Single
single
object.
object.
Yeah.
Why? Because we cannot decide, we cannot tell the order of execution.
Yeah, that's why we use this single object for one trigger. For
Right.
one object, single trigger.
Now let's go to asynchronous class. So first, before going to there, like so, like what if I'll ask? One second. If I'll ask, like all the Apex class and all, it run in system. No, sorry, run in synchronous mode or asynchronous mode?
Synchronous all Apex class.
Yeah, all synchronous mode means apart from batch Apex and all. But if I
Yeah.
will go to batch Apex, that runs in the asynchronous mode.
Asynchronous.
That runs in asynchronous mode. If I'll go to asynchronous mode, so how many operations which we can perform? So we have Apex class. We have sorry, batch Apex. We have batch Apex. Second, we have future method. Third, we have queuable class.
And schedule Apex.
Schedulable class. Okay. So we have first we have batch Apex, future method, scheduler, and our queuable class. So it means batch class. Why do we use batch Apex? Batch Apex, everyone is aware that it is used for the work as a with bulk data. Okay, if we have a data up to 50 million, we can use we should use a batch Apex. But why can't we use data loader if you already have a data loader? Because data loader is also at least working till 5 million, but that is more than simple normal classes. But because we cannot schedule the data loader, and they are like we cannot add some custom functionality in the data loader, whatever is not existing in the data loader. Okay, we cannot query the data on the behalf of different corporations, and like that is a like out of box feature issue where we do with asynchronous call only. So, but in a batch Apex, we have generally 3 methods.
Okay.
Start.
Execute.
Yes.
And stop. Finish. Sorry, finish. Yeah.
One second. So what start does, what is the use of start method? It just collect the record from the database only. But what execute does, so it just process the record
Logic.
which got from start method. This is the order of execution. First start method will run, then execute, then finish. So whatever
Yeah.
data is collected from the start method from the database, let's say you collected around like let's say 5 lakh records. Okay, whatever 5 lakh records you got from the database, all the 5 lakh records, we will iterate that 5 lakh record will process in this execute method. Okay, so
Okay.
in case of finish, let's say after processing of done of your 5 lakh records, then what will happen in this scenario? So we can directly send the any email, like send intimation and all
Yeah. Notification.
after completion of your let's say processing in the from the previous method, like execute method. You want to send any intimation, any message and all. Okay, that is a thing.
Okay.
But in case of let's say, what is query locator in like we can set a get query locator for what?
Actually, the syntax is also database batchable. No, the
That is
syntax for
database.batchable.
batchable.
That is the interface actually.
Yeah, interface.
That is the interface. That is, if they can ask you what is that interface, you can say it's a database dot batchable.
Yeah.
Okay,
got it.
so that is the interface,
Okay.
and we have different interface actually. So we'll tell you. But yes,
Yeah.
what is get query locator? So get query locator is generally helpful, help us to retrieve data till 50 million.
Okay.
Okay, that is it's a dynamic SQL. We can process execute from there. And
Okay.
let's say, what is iterable? Database dot iterable.
Instructions.
What is database dot iterable? So database dot iterable means it's just process the record till 5 million. Like it will make your batch apex as a like decrease the governor limit iterable. So if I'll go to database dot allow call out. So database dot allow call out is generally helpful to like do the integration with third party. You know, it's a call out. Call out means it's a we are
Okay.
doing the integration, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, we have database dot stateful. It's a database, no data. So database dot stateful. What it does? So database dot stateful. Let's say you have 100 records in the database, and you are 1000 record, and you have 200 batch size. So and
Yeah.
it will run, how many times it will run? It will run 5 times, right?
Yeah.
5 times. So let's say your one batch is failed, like 200 record is failed, and again batch is failed, like second batch is also failed, and third batch is also failed. And we are sure that it is failed, but we are not sure how many is failed and how many is passed. So to maintaining the states and to calculate the number of failure records, and also that we, for maintaining the state, we generally use database.stateful.
And one more thing, if the failure records, where it will be saved in batch apex?
So it's a failure record. Number of failure records will be stored in the we have some say point and database.insert and this kind of DML. So accordingly we'll store there. And we
We
can
can
even
store an object also, right? We can create an object.
we can store first we will store on the variable from the database.insert, database.delete, and from say point. So accordingly, if it is success, on the behalf of that, we can store that data in the object you want to store in the custom setting and wherever you want to make it, like store it.
Okay.
Okay.
It will store in object or data.
You can store it. You can store it
Okay.
in the object. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a thing. And why we are using this one? Why directly can't we use database dot like why can't we directly use save point and database dot insert and all? Because you know, if you're using that thing in every means I will say in every interval, that will be refreshed, and that like we cannot maintain the states actually in that scenario. To maintaining the state, we use stateful. Okay, so that is the thing. So yeah, so this is the main, like they will ask, if they will ask you anything from the interview, they can ask you the start and execute finish method. They can ask you, can we call one one a batch apex to another batch apex? You can say, yeah, we can call in finish method only.
Yeah.
They can ask you, if I will delete my finish method, can I write my batch apex? You can say no, it's mandatory. Means finish, start, and execute everything is mandatory. You can do reordering, means you can finish, you can write on the top and the bottom and middle, so anywhere you can write, but that is also not a best practice. But yes, we cannot delete. And third one is, so can we can we schedule batch? Can we see the result of batch backs immediately? You can say yes, we can see it, but that thing we have to immediately we have to go to developer console anonymous window and we have to execute that batch backs. If someone want to ask, so can you schedule this batch backs, like all the records should be updated in morning 8 o'clock, like whatever 5 million or whatever 50 million reports we are getting from a database, it should be updated with some value in the morning 8 o'clock. On that scenario, what we will do, we'll say we have to write a scheduler class. In that scheduler class, we have to call the batch apex. So how will we call it? Let's say my batch apex name is batch apex something. This is my batch apex. B is equal to new batch apex.
And the scheduler class will write in production or sandbox?
Everywhere scheduler can run anywhere, no? So
in production also we can run it, no?
No, immediate we cannot run, but scheduler we can run. Yes. Immediate developer console logic will not work there, but this will work there because we cannot write a code in production. But this is we are not writing, we are scheduling actually. Scheduling and creating a date, running a different thing.
It should be like go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, not a problem, go on.
No, what I was trying to say, for the scheduler, we're gonna do the global class, right? And we'll put the class name and implement schedule, right?
Exactly. Yes. Batch apex, scheduler class, everything should be global. Asynchronous operation.
Yes. Means if we will do anything, we will deploy into production now after testing. At the time, if we want to do the schedule every night, means if the client knows the status, how many opportunities are closed one or anything, at the time we will do sandbox and schedule and deploy to production.
Yeah, so you can if you want to check these kind of things, like if you are like executing the script in the sandbox and you want to check in the production, that you won't be able to see anything. For that, definitely you have to schedule the jobs in your production itself, whatever the record will update. So that will be it will be depend like that will be come with the scheduler like batch apex only. Like once it will be scheduled, then batch apex will be run, batch apex will run, then all the report will be updated in production.
Yeah.
There is no
we
any
have to
other way.
we have to deploy the schedule class into production at the time.
Right.
And you need to run the batch manually in QA or production.
No.
Now, how do you do it? Like after scheduling it, if they wanted like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you need to run that job.scheduler.
No, that is cloning. That is different thing. If you want like run in a 5 minutes and 10 minutes, that is a cloning. That is different expression in the scheduler class. So that cloning you have to implement, and that cloning you have to deploy again.
So this one, if I write the scheduler, how do I know whether like it's gonna start the batch in 5 minutes? So I need to schedule it in the Apex jobs, right? Like where we have a scheduler.
Definitely.
Okay, got you. So
Definitely.
if it is 5 minutes, then we manually do the scheduler. What is the name of it?
Cron expression.
Chronix, okay.
Cron expression.
Chronix, okay, gotcha.
So as what can you do here? So as a best practice, what can you like? Let me tell you. So like we cannot write a code, we cannot write a script in the production, right? Even that is not a best practice. To like cron, how will we use cron? Let me just show the cron expression as well. In every 5 minutes.
I sent you over the chat.
Sorry?
I sent you over the chat.
Yeah. Great, yeah, very fast. So yeah, whatever you sent, that is perfect. Okay, so this cron expression will be used here. Let me just copy
Go and sleep.
Show you.
Go and sleep.
This is my cron expression. Okay, so that it tells like what time and what date and what second. So whatever 00, it's a time, like it's a minute, second, minute, timing and all. Like it totally depend on you. So this is my job name, and this is my job name, and this is my scheduler class name.
Scheduler name.
Okay, scheduler class name. So accordingly, what will you do here? So you will not write like this, and like if you want to deploy these things in the production, you want to schedule in immediately. So that time, what will you do? So you will do right here string means any variable, and these things you will cut from here. Something like this, and this thing you will paste here. And parallelly, what will you do there? You will create one custom label. On that custom label, so value, what will be the value? Let's say my custom label name is cron schedule, something like this. Okay, so whatever cron schedule we have, so that we will write here. 1 second. And value of schedule cron schedule is this, and we'll write this in this str string str, or else directly we can use these things here as well, but that is alternative way. So we can use directly, and whatever the value we have in the label, so we will deploy the label. Let's say if client is saying to run the Apex class immediately, what will you do? You will go to custom label, because you cannot edit the Apex class, but you can edit the custom label, right? You can change the custom label and you will save it automatically. That will be run after some time. You understood or not?
Yes.
Kumar?
Oh yeah, I understood. I didn't know about this one. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's the thing. And apart from this, let's say if we'll go to so that is the use of scheduler class. Actually, that is the use of scheduler and batch apex. Okay, so yeah, so what is future method? So future is generally, we can annotate future method with @future. It should be global and static method. return type can be void or without like anything we can return. That's a string, integer, anything. So let's say it's my method name, like it's my method name in the parameter. So we should have only primitive data type, not non-primitive data type. We should have only
Primitive.
string, integer, list, and boolean. All these things we can have, but as a like if I'll say my account, contact, opportunity, and any subjects, we cannot pass in the parameter of the future method. You
Even
know
the
why?
list, right?
Sorry?
Even the list, right? You can pass the list as
No, list we can pass. List of string and all we can pass. We can pass. Okay. So if you pass like all these things, even list you can pass. So you can try that we can pass. And apart from this, let's say if you are getting the data in the let's say we need as objects, and we want to make this future method a batch up, like this future method to use in the trigger. Okay, that we are making this future method class as a helper class, and we can say how can we make the call out like in trigger. So if you want to make a call out in trigger, then we'll write this future method in the trigger as a helper class, and we write call out equal to true. Okay, we write call out equal to true, and this method will call in the trigger. But you know, like in trigger we have trigger.new.
Yes.
Trigger.new. So now it returns the records of new idea of new records. Okay, new records means it's a related object. So if you are not able to pass the object in this one, so how can we pass the trigger.new, like let's say list of account or contact records? How can I pass it? So what I will do here, so I will just first serialize the data in the JSON format. So whatever data I'm getting from here, so I will convert all the data in the JSON format first. Let's say I'm getting name. So again, I will create, let's say it's a last name or something, let's say anything. Like this. So whatever data we will get here, so all the data will let's say we are storing all this data in the one string here. Okay, so whatever data we are getting here, all data will store in this. So we'll like whatever data we'll write, let's say this is my public global class future class. So we'll call like this in the trigger. You know, this we cannot pass, but we can pass string str, something like this we can pass. So whatever data we'll get from this str, so that will be stored in this str. Okay, and accordingly we can deserialize again, and we can make it in the as objects format. Okay, you got it or not? Like we are what we are doing here, we are just converting the list of new records, list of like as objects is account contact records in the JSON format like this. We are converting in the string format. That string we are passing here, we cannot directly pass the as object here. So to overcome this issue, so again we can deserialize. We are serializing here, we are deserializing here. So we'll get here list of account. Let's say we are discussing about account. भाई समझ में आया और कुमार?
Yeah.
The JSON format will be string str equal to name and last name.
Sorry?
It will be like that. The JSON format will be.
JSON for this is a JSON format actually.
Okay.
Okay. We have two format. One is XML, one is JSON format.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the thing. Okay, fine. So apart from this, let's say if you go to future method, yeah. So can we call one future method to another future method? No, we cannot call. No, we cannot call. Okay. And so what is limitations we can say if someone will ask you like why can't we use as objects and as a parameter. The reason behind this is, let's say you are passing some parameter in the and some subjects in the parameter, let's say account object. That account object data you are changing in the middle of the picture. Let's say you have scheduled, let's say something is processing from the asynchronous future method, and between that some user is coming and that data is changing. Let's say name is changing by Amarjit, and condition was like future method condition was when it will run, it was running in case of once name was Kumar. Some person came middle of the picture and what did they say? They changed from Kumar to Amarjit. So that time, like asynchronous operation will not be able to understand shall I run or not. So accordingly, to not make that much of confusion in the asynchronous operation, so we are just not using the as subjects in the parameter. Okay, even we cannot track the ID. We cannot track the ID, job ID of the your future method. Okay, and apart from this, we cannot call one future method to another future method. We cannot call the future method in the batch apex. We cannot, no, but we can call future method in the trigger. They can ask you like this. Okay, so and can we call like batch apex in future method? No. Can we call batch apex in trigger? We can call, but that is not a best practice. Okay,
Yeah.
so apart from this, yeah, so these are the things which you need to take care in this one. Yeah, scheduler class, if you'll go to, sorry, queueable class. So in queueable class, we generally can track the ID, like job ID. We can find out the job ID in the background job. And apart from this, like in the we can pass as objects as well in the parameter, and we can have more classes like where we can make it in queue. Okay, that is a queueable class.
More than one class in queueable or more classes?
No, queueable class is one class actually. We can call another class. Let's say what is a thing? You know the name of the queueable is a queueable. So let's say this is my one class, queueable class, and this is my second queueable class.
Okay.
Okay, this is my third queueable class and fourth queueable class. Or let's say I have different batch apex. So this is my main class. So I'm calling all this class in this one. So what will happen? So once one class will run, execute, then will run, then second class will execute, third class will execute, fourth, fifth. So this is a queue, like it will run in the queue,
Yeah.
queueable class.
Okay.
Okay, so that is a thing. Okay, so do you have any doubt in batch apex now?
What are the complex things if they ask?
In the complexity in the asynchronous operation, if I'll say so, complex things, like say if you are getting a data more than 50 millions, okay, that is a thing,
Okay.
that is a challenging part. Okay, and different challenging part for you, like in your last project, what was happening? So let's say when you joined the company, so it was existing database, and they created the already batch apex and scheduler class and lots of things they already created, but you are not aware what they created or not, but they directly told you to do this functionality.
Okay.
It was very challenging part for you to find out the things, find out the flows, and find out the things. So what was the best way which you preferred? So let's say you are going to, we have advanced code searcher extension. After that, we can able to see this search box. So you can write, let's say I want to find out the batch apex from batch apex name from the account object. So what will I write here? From account. Definitely we cannot skip the start method. Definitely if we have a suspect on account object, let's say we are doing the functionality or something is happening in the account object, definitely I will not go to opportunity, I will go to account only. So I will write from account and I will search, like if there is something related to this, so then I can check. So now I can get to know, let's say this is a batch apex. So if I'll go there, so I can check, oh, this is my batch apex, this is my batch apex or what. So like this we can do.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the thing is, so these are the things so which we need to take care in batch packs and all. Okay, so if we'll go to integration, okay, so all clear, right, till now?
Yeah. At the rate of future callouts should be 100 now.
That is a governance limit. Yeah, how many callouts can we
Uh,
do at a time? That
it's
is 100.
100. Okay. Thank you. Yeah,
And
go for integration.
DML governance limit is 150 maximum we can do,
150. Yeah.
and SOQL is
100 for synchronous, 200 for asynchronous.
100. Yes. And what's the batch size? Default batch size?
200.
Exactly. And can we increase this one?
I think by the support. No, no.
Yeah, we can increase by 2000. Decrease by 1 only. Minimum it can be 1. Maximum it can be 2000.
Okay.
Okay. A record processing, like how many record we can process from batch Apex? 50 million.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so these are the
Yes.
things that apart from this there is lots of things, and
Yeah.
we can have a heap size error as well. Like if you are getting heap size error or CPU time limit exceeded, so that is, let's say, that is I think 20 second for synchronous and 60 second for asynchronous for CPU time limit exceeded. And heap size, what is heap size? Size is a garbage value. Actually, it's a garbage value. Whatever like unused data you have, unused like cache memory, we can say, we sometimes we store the cache memory, and we have garbage value. Generally this kind of issue we get in the batch effects. Okay, so we can get anywhere, but yeah, lots of times we get from the batch effect. It's a garbage value actually, heap size. If it is exceeding more than certain limit, then it show the error message. Okay, so when you will get the errors out of bound index out of bound error? Let's say -1, something like this. So these kind of error generally we get once we are getting, let's say, let me just tell you,
indexing, during the indexing.
Exactly. So what I want here, let's say I want to store some value in the string str. Okay, what I'm trying to do here, let's say I want the name of your first value. Okay, first value. Let's say we want to make first value of this the name. So what will happen here? So let's say there is nothing, no record in the database. There is 0 record in the database, or else we are saying limit 0 here. There is nothing, it will not return anything, because there is no record in the database. Even we are writing the limit 0. So if we don't have any records, after that we are writing after that we are writing ACC list, like first record, like for 0th element we are getting from this list. If there is nothing, then how can we fetch the reports, right? So it will show the like out of bound exception. Okay, क्या नाम है, Lakshmi?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so these are the things. So now let's go to our integration. So in integration, so first, which tools we should have and what are the things where we can store the data. So first is remote site setting.
Yeah.
Connected app. Public site. Workbench. Postman. These are the kuch key, like even I can say session ID, consumer key. consumer secret,
Client ID.
and I can say it's a client ID and client key, both of the consumer key and client key, client ID, both of the same thing. And session ID, or we can say it's access token. Before access token, we should have security token as well. Security token, and we should have a wrapper class, and we should have what say it's a yeah, REST. If you're doing calling, REST resource class, we are talking about REST API first. Okay, so REST resource. Apart from this, there is some methods that we can set create HTTP post. We can say HTTP post, HTTP get. We can say it's a put. We can say it's delete. There are lots of
Yeah.
other methods as well.
Total 5 we have.
No, they are not even 5. There are lots of it. So